found friends.
I found sports.
I found my passion.
I found family.
I found my calling. I found a place to call home. Discover what you can find at Marietta by visiting marietta.edu today.
Coming up today on News Center 15, more federal spending in devastated counties.
And a new look for the Toledo Police.
We've got these stories and more. News Center 15 starts now. Good afternoon. You're watching WCMO TV on Channel 15. I'm Jessica Hill.
And I'm Cooper Holmes.
Topping our news this afternoon, a federal judge has threatened to temporarily block Carnival from docking their cruise ships at U.S. ports as punishment for a possible probation violation. Carnival has been on probation for 2 years for illegally dumping oil into the ocean and lying about it in court filings. The court filings reported that Carnival and its beneficiaries repeatedly falsified records, and the Carnival Elation ship dumped plastic garbage overboard during an audit in December.
California prosecutors will seek the death penalty for the Golden State Killer if they convict the suspect. The suspect, Mr. Joseph DeNando, was arrested years ago based on DNA evidence linking him to at least 13 murders across California in the 70s and 80s. D'Angelo has yet to enter a plea, and his trial is likely years away. Newsom spokesperson Brian Ferguson said, "These are horrific crimes. Our sympathies are with the victims and the families who have suffered at the hands of the Golden State Killer."
I can think of 3 choice words to describe today's weather.
Here for a look at our weather is Ethan Brown.
Well, I can also think of 3 good words. It is some darn good weather. Currently it is 51, and I don't think it's really quite 51 actually. It feels much warmer than that. The sun's definitely out today, so wear sunglasses if possible. Pollen is low, so you won't have to worry about that necessarily. Wind speed seems to be low, so that shouldn't be too much of a concern. And sunset 7:49 as it continues to push back later into the evening. That's a sign that the days are getting longer, which is always awesome. So if you don't have plans for today to be outside, you better make them, because it is a darn good day outside, and you definitely don't want to miss this weather. So back to you guys.
Thank you, Ethan. And on Wednesday, blocked the government from on Wednesday, a judge ruling that would block the government from returning asylum seekers to Mexico to await court hearings. The administration had hoped the move would discourage weak asylum claims and help reduce an immigration court backlog of more than 800,000 cases. Judge Richard Seaborg stated that the administration's policy violated United States law by failing to adequately evaluate the dangers that immigrants face in Mexico.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was forcibly bundled out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London and into an awaiting British police van on Thursday, setting up a potential court battle over attempts to extradite him to the U.S. to face charges related to the publication of tens of thousands of secret government documents. British police arrested Assange after the South American nation decided to revoke the political asylum they had given Assange, which was sanctuary for almost 7 years. Ecuador's President Lenin Moreno said he took the action due to repeated violations to international conventions and daily life. In Washington, the U.S. Justice Department accused Assange with conspiracy with Chelsea Manning to break into a classified government computer at the Pentagon. The charge was announced after Assange was taken into custody. Assange took refuge in the embassy in 2012 after he was released on bail in Britain while facing extradition to Sweden on sexual assault allegations that have since been dropped.
And when WCMO returns, a new abortion bill and federal funding for counties hurt by storms.
We'll be right back.
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
HPV? Didn't know that.
Hey, Major, did you get your flu vaccine yet? Make that your mission for today.
Did you say mission? Let's do this. With the flu season coming up, we all have to help protect ourselves by getting the flu vaccine. If you're over 65 like me, you gotta even be more careful. Look out! Our immune system may not be as strong as it used to be, so we have to do everything we can to keep the flu from catching up with us. Educating yourself about your flu vaccine options is important. It's also really easy. So ask about your vaccine options, because if you're a tough guy like me, you may need a tough vaccine. The flu can aggravate other conditions, so make it your mission to get the right flu shot for your age.
Lee, is that you? Did you complete your mission?
Oh, you mean the flu shot? No sweat. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more about vaccine options for people 65 and older.
A bill banning abortions in Ohio once a fetal heartbeat is detected is headed to Republican Governor Mike DeWine, who has said he plans to sign it. Opponents vowed to sue. The bill cleared its final hurdle Wednesday when the Ohio Senate agreed to the House changes 18-13. The Ohio House had approved the measures 56-39 earlier in the day. DeWine took office in January. Backers hope he will be true to his word and sign the bill, twice vetoed by his predecessor, Republican John Kasich. Ohio joins 5 other states that have passed such restrictive abortion measures. A fetal heartbeat can be detected as early as 5 or 6 weeks into pregnancy, before many women even find out they're pregnant. The bill makes no exceptions for rape or incest. The Republican-controlled Ohio House has again passed a measure to ban abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected.
Federal funding is being made available to help repair damage in Ohio from storms, flooding, and landslides after severe weather in February. Local governments, state agencies, and certain nonprofit organizations in 20 southern Ohio counties are eligible for the federal assistance under a disaster declaration granted this week by President Donald Trump. It includes Adams, Athens, Brown, Gallia, Guernsey, Hocking, Jackson, Jefferson, Lawrence, Meigs, Monroe, Morgan, Muskingum, Noble, Perry, Pike, Ross, Cinto, Vinton, and Washington counties. Republican Governor Mike DeWine's office says storms that hit the area in February 5th to the 13th caused more than $41 million in damage to critical infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and public buildings. The office says 14 of the 20 counties also were hit a year earlier by severe storms that led to a disaster declaration last year.
And Ohio police officers in one Ohio city will be cruising neighborhoods in a new ride this summer, an ice cream truck. Toledo's police chief says officers will be in the truck handing out ice cream to children as a way to build better relationships within the community. A donation from the Toledo Mud Hens Baseball Club to the Toledo Police Foundation will pay for the truck. Police Chief George Carl tells the Blade newspaper that he came up with the idea after hearing about departments in other states that have ice cream trucks. He says he hopes that local businesses will help by donating ice cream. The plan is to have the ice cream truck on the streets by the end of May. And coming up, we'll take a look at what's happening around our area.
We'll have these stories and more after the break.
And we'll also have a look at what you can expect for the 5-day forecast. Will the weekend have any good weather in store, or will it be going downwards a little bit? Well, you'll just have to see after this.
Where are we?
We are at Marietta College.
This is where we live, at Marietta College.
The third day of the trial for Washington County Prosecutor Kevin Rings includes a testimony from a second woman accusing him of misconduct. The proceedings also started and finished with significant blows to both the prosecution and defense. Rings, 56, is facing 2 misdemeanor charges of coercion and sexual imposition due to alleged interactions with Amy Davis, 33, of Belpre, who at the time was both the victim in one case Rings was prosecuting and the other defendant in another. The prosecution called 4 more witnesses Wednesday, while the defense called its first. 1 more witness is scheduled to testify for the defense when the trial resumes today. Rings is not expected to take the stand.
The Southeast Ohio Food Bank said in a recent statement that the impact of the 45-day shutdown of the federal government early this year is still being felt by the people whose SNAP benefits were distributed by the closure of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which administers the Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program, widely known as food stamps. A dispute between the White House and Congress over allocating money for a wall at the border with Mexico closed all services deemed essential for December 2nd to January 25th. In early January, as the argument dragged on with no end in sight, the state of Ohio elected to shift the assurance date for benefits in January and February in March, making budget difficult for many of the low-income beneficiaries.
And Thursday, Marietta City Council authorized the emergency sewer line repair project to begin on Post Street. We have a clear emergency and we can waive the bidding process. City engineering did request for proposals twice, said Law Director Paul Burnham, noting only one bidder responded to the city's request for contractors to make the necessary repairs. Ordinance 194 authorized city administration to contract with Larry Lang Excavating, Inc. of Beverly for a price not to exceed $155,665. Council also appropriated $160,000 out of the city sewer funds to have the funds ready to pay for the project. The project will begin work next week to be concluded within 2 weeks, weather permitting. The funds will also be used to install additional grading for handrail maintenance and for safety at the High River Pump Station on the eastern side of Duck Creek. Although the change order is in addition, the total contract amount is not above the original $8.4 million estimate because of the previous deductions, which reduced the overall project amount by $30,665. And the Oscars have passed, but there's plenty of other sports and entertainment to report.
Here's Ethan Brown of our Hollywood Minute.
Well, there's plenty in the way of Hollywood that has nothing to do with the Oscars, but we've still got some good stories for you. Starting off, the Circle of Life continues. Disney just dropped the first full trailer for The Lion King. Donald Glover, Beyonce, and James Earl Jones lead the voice cast of the studio's latest remake, which is set to hit theaters on July 19th. And it is no surprise that tickets for Avengers Endgame are going fast. Fandango reports in the first week of pre-sales, it's sold 5 times as many tickets for the Marvel sequel as it did for Avengers Infinity War. Thousands of showtimes are sold out, and some theaters are adding screenings as early as 4 a.m. on opening day, April 26. And finally, for a movie that I'm personally excited for, check out this casting session sneak peek for Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds, who provides the title character's voice, posted the clip to YouTube with the comment, "You should have seen the audition room when we were done." In Hollywood, by way of Rhyme City, I'm Ethan Brown.
Thank you, Ethan. Now we'll go right back to you for a look at the weather.
What's it like out there, Ethan?
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what weather we have in store. We've got some good weather, I think. As you can see right here, it actually looks fairly clear, so you know, for the immediate time being, we seem to be fine. Coming in right here, yeah, there's nothing really in the way of precipitation or anything along those lines. As we look at the next map and we look at the high temperatures for today, right here in the Ohio Valley where we are, it's actually quite nice. You can see that it's peaking right around the 80-degree mark, which is astoundingly great for this time of year. And the low temperatures, I mean, those aren't half bad either. Those will probably hit somewhere low 60s, high 50s, somewhere around that range, which is pretty good in its own right. So it should be a nice cool evening by the time the day concludes. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the 5-day forecast. We know that today is going to be the high of 83 degrees, which again is awesome. So you definitely want to go out and experience that. Tomorrow it'll be a high of 73, which is very good. Unfortunately, there will be a good chance of thunderstorms, so you'll definitely want to prepare for that just in case. Saturday, also a high of 73. Rain should not be an issue, but it will be cloudy, so the sun will unfortunately not be a factor. Sunday also good high, 74, but the thunderstorms will likely come back, so once again prepare for that. Monday, unfortunately, the temperatures take a dip down to 53 degrees for the high, and there's a somewhat of a chance of rain in the morning. So overall this weekend, you might want to look out for some rain, but overall the temperatures will be pretty good. So, you know, if you're able to prepare for the rain accordingly, you should have a good time out there. I'd definitely go out and enjoy the weather if you get the chance. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ethan. And when we come back, Jared will join us for an update in the world of sports.
We'll be right back.
back. Here's Jared with an update in the world of sports.
What's the stuff, Ruff?
Well, guys, it's going to be the final day of the regular season that has arrived with only one playoff spot to decide 7 of the 8 first-round matchups still unknown and 9 different seeds still not clinched. And it's also the last day that Dallas's Dirk Nowitzki and Miami's Dwayne Wade will be in the NBA players before retirement. Dallas is in San Antonio, Miami's in Brooklyn. Nowitzki and Wade played their final home games on Tuesday night, both scoring 30 points apiece. It is the first day of the offseason for a few teams, including the Los Angeles Lakers, whose season ended Tuesday with a loss to Portland, and the team president Magic Johnson stepping down in a move that few could predict. Washington, Cleveland, New Orleans, and Phoenix are also done. The Columbia Blue Jackets rebounded from a dismal start to stun the team that had NHL's best regular season record. Seth Jones scored the go-ahead goal on the power play to the Caps Columbus 3-goal third period, and the Blue Jackets rallied to beat Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3 in Game 1 of the team's first-round Eastern Conference playoff series Wednesday night. "We can't get more comfortable," Jones said. "Nothing is going to get easier, and it's only going to get harder." Jackie Young said it was a dream come true to be taken first in the WNBA draft. The Notre Dame guard, who decided to enter the draft early and skipped her senior season, was selected number 1 by the Las Vegas Aces on Wednesday night. "Since I was a little girl, I always wanted to play in the WNBA, and now I've had my chance," she said. She's the second Irish player to be drafted first after entering early, joining Jewel Lloyd, who had the honor in 2015. Tiger Woods is a winner again, making him even more appealing at the Masters. "I've worked my way back into one of the players that can win events," he said. Roy McIlroy is betting favorite, perhaps even the sentimental favorite, facing a 5th chance at completing the career Grand Slam at Augusta National. He has never started a year as well as this one. McIlroy won the Players' Championship, played in the final group in 3 other events, and has yet to finish out of the top 10 in his 7 PGA Tour events. "I'm happy with where everything is, body, mind, and game," McIlroy said. And that's it. Back to the desk, guys.
Thank you, Jared. Now Ethan joins us one last time for a look at the weather. What's going on?
Yeah, well, as I said before, the weather for today is absolutely beautiful. Sun's shining. It's supposed to hit the 80s, so definitely go out and experience that. Unfortunately, past today, the clouds will roll in. We'll have a good chance of rain. Even though the temperatures will stay pretty high, you'll want to look out for that. Unfortunately, those of us at Marietta College looking forward to Doodah Day tomorrow might have to put up with the rain, which is kind of unfortunate.
I just really hope it doesn't rain on Doodah Day, because I'm
yeah,
going to be
same.
working that.
You know, hot air balloons and thunderstorms don't really mix.
Not the best way.
No.
Not particularly. So, thank you for joining us for Thursday's edition of WCMO TV, Channel 15 at noon 30 and 6:30. From all of us here at the station, we wish you a great weekend.